Hello and welcome to Unbox The Podcast. I'm your host, Sahar Palmer. We've been away from each other for so long, and I'm taking this opportunity to update you on why I've been away for so long and what's been happening in my life. On the upside, things have really changed overnight. It started with a proposal of writing a book for Arcturus Publishing. This was such a lifelong dream that I really leapt at it, and that led to other books, and I ended up sitting down and writing 8 books altogether. 4 have come out, 6 have come out actually, and a couple more this year, and I'm hoping for a couple more next year. Because it needed my focus, I really needed to think about what is it that I'm trying to say. There were various subjects, please look them up, and I really strive to make a unique point in each one of them. And what I'm really passionate about is demystifying a lot of information that has been misconstrued over the years. When I started into the intuition or self-awareness track, if you like, 30 years ago, very little was available, which is the reason why I started this podcast in 2005. Simply, to come across information wasn't possible. So I started a magazine, PS Magazine, and I started the podcast back in 2005 with the aim of creating a hub so that people could access this information. Do listen to the early interviews where we talk about past lives, near-death experiences, channeling, interviews with all sorts of people, leaders in their field. I will probably republish these interviews at some point, but you can still access them. What I want to do now is to address your needs so that you find inspiration in carrying on with life, mostly to enjoy it really, because many of us can think that life is a struggle, which it can be, but this is the way it is. This is the way the cookie crumbles, and we need to find our strength to feel empowered to address whatever we need to in our lives without damaging our emotional and mental well-being. This is truly the essence of Unbox Life Mentoring, which is to put you in the driver's seat, to show you, to demonstrate, to teach you how to fish. As one of my clients said, she said, "You showed me how to fish. You taught me how to fish. You didn't just show me how to fish." So it's all about being really practical, giving you tools, ideas, inspiration, so that you can apply to your daily life, feeling better and better each day. There has been a lot of cosmological changes, let me put it that way. And what I mean is that the changes are really on a big scale. They're not just to do with our personal lives. There are so many things that are going on with the cosmos that we find ourselves a little bit lost or disoriented. You may have been feeling a lot of subtle changes, which is understandable. Well, in fact, you may have been feeling subtle changes and blaming yourself for not doing this or that or the other. But this is not entirely true. The changes I speak about are so subtle that you are likely to think that it's you, but it's not your fault. And by the way, I don't believe in be the best version of yourself, because I truly believe we were born that way. You are born the best version of yourself. But what happens in life may distort, if you will, the alignment of who you are, and you just have to get back on track. And what will help you do that is awareness. So you are always in charge. Just be aware whether you're registering what you're going through or not. Which is why I took time away, because I did feel disoriented. I wasn't connected, or I didn't feel connected with you, the listener. What is it that you needed, and how I can give you my experience, my inspiration to help you in your life. Podcasts are fantastic. I can see the statistics of what country, how many listeners download, but I don't really know who you are, what is it that you expect or look forward to in a podcast. So please get in touch if there is a specific area or subject that you'd like me to address. In my frustration, I stepped back, all the way back, as one of my mentors used to say, in order to see the big picture and what was happening, what was changing in my landscape. I realized that the younger people are more perhaps in need. Maybe wisdom comes with age, I'm not sure, but the younger generation, I should say, I felt that they were really lost. So one of the things I've done last year is to teach. I taught few development circles at Kayani Center here in Dubai because I felt disconnected with the people of Dubai. Although I knew my international clients really quite well over the years because we stayed in touch and we are in touch until now. And I'm grateful to you for keeping in touch with me. I did the books, I did the teaching, and then I found myself really exhausted. It affected my thyroid. It suddenly went hyper, and then it went hypo, and I needed to do a few procedures. So it was really the summer of unfortunate things. Gladly, I came over that. I overcome that. And now I'm redoing my website, which turned out to be such a huge task because of how I want to present myself in order to serve you better. So the landscape has changed for me. One of the interesting things when you work as a therapist for over 30 years is, as a therapist, I tend to see trends. I tend to see what people are going through. There's almost like cycles within cycles. There's almost themes to their problems. I only take a handful of clients, mentoring clients each month so that I can focus, if you will, on their needs and be available to them. And it just seemed really interesting, I don't want to say odd, but really interesting, that quite a few were going through the same kind of themes. It's either at work, I'm unhappy, I got promoted, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know where I am, I don't know if I want this. It was relationships that have been going on for a few years. I'm unhappy, I don't know who I am, I don't know what I'm doing in this relationship, and so on. So I saw like trends, and I saw these trends as means to refocus, readjust, realign with our life path. Nothing in life is good or bad. It's either you're happy, you're enjoying it, or you're not. And when you are not, you need to ask the right questions, because asking the right question will give you the right answer. So I don't know if it's really beneficial to analyze emotions. I read a very interesting quote recently that emotions are biological or a chemical process. You don't analyze them. But you can reflect on your actions, because that is something that you did. And that is something that you have a choice in acting or modulating your behavior to act in a different way. So yeah, when something happens, the body picks it up, which is the first dimension of change. And then you feel a sensation, which is the emotional level, the next step or the next dimension of change. And if those feelings repeat themselves, then you begin to form a belief system. And your belief system dictates the way that you act or behave. So what I do in the mentoring is to look at these 4 dimensions to see where you are out of alignment and what aspect we need to work on to make you aware of that. And once you become aware, then you're able to guide yourself. And what happens when you are in alignment is you become so connected with who you are, how your systems operate and how they interact with each other. And therefore, it becomes a lot easier for you to guide yourself and to stay on track. What happens is that everything flows smoothly. So you begin to kind of wonder, well, why did I suffer before? So if you're struggling in any way, please go to my YouTube channel, listen to the previous podcasts. Help is always available. I truly feel if you look for answers, you will find them. And I'm trying, the last 2 years I've been trying to put out there a lot of material that is useful to you, including courses, online courses, webinars, and my, I'm going to say my really lovely, because I enjoy it, Unbox Coffee Break. So this year, I'll be meeting you once a month, every month, on the first Monday of every month, where we're going to meet over coffee, live over Zoom, and discuss all these changes that you're going through. It is almost free, really. So look into it, please, on my website, and do join us, because this is the time where we come together, we interact. When you hear what other people are going through, then you understand yourself better and you understand what you're going through. And the most important thing is to feel, okay, we're going through this as humanity. There is nothing personal that is happening to me specifically. And then when we lose that kind of egocentric view or perspective on life, then you begin to understand the dynamic of how everything is connected and how when you work on one aspect, it will impact the other aspects, but the overall benefit is something really wonderful and leaves a huge impact on your life, that you begin to enjoy your life because you know that whatever change you go through is the nature of things. It's the nature of life. I mean, this is why we're here. We're here to have experiences, to interact, to make mistakes, to overreact so that we can tell or gauge our reaction between the two extremes, and this is how we find our balance. When you are in a state of balance, things flow smoothly. It doesn't mean that there will not be any bumps. Again, the nature of life is constant change, but it means that you can adjust very quickly because you've had that perspective, that self-awareness that you are in charge of whatever is happening in your life through the way that you respond to these changes. You may not cause these changes to happen, but how you respond to them dictates the next step, the ramifications, what will happen in the next cycle in your life, and so on. So when you start driving, and it's literally like learning how to drive, you become more in command of what's happening in your life, and you begin to see that you are attracting all these experiences for a reason. And the reason is self-mastery. When you become your own master, the master of your life, of your destiny, of what experiences you draw to yourself, it's truly an empowering feeling because you begin to make better choices. What kind of friends do I want in my life? What kind of job do I want to wake up to in the morning? And so on. So self-awareness, realization, accountability, which is the fourth dimension of change, is how you can begin to guide yourself. There are a few free tools for life on my new website, which should be live by the end of this week. So keep checking the website and you can download these tools. For example, how to deal with fear, how to find your balance, meaning what aspects are completely out of balance within you that you need to address. When you do these exercises, you see the intangible in a tangible way. Like you can't tell if you're an introvert or an extrovert, but when you do this exercise, finding your balance, you see it with your own eyes. You see the midpoint, the center, and you see what aspects or responses are more towards one extreme than the other. And just this fact that you see what is out of alignment or extreme about you, your awareness becomes activated. And once you see it, you can't really forget it. It registers in your brain. And unconsciously, you become more aware of, are you overanalyzing? Are you overreacting? Was your action or response in, what's the word I'm looking for? Was it appropriate? I can give you a personal example where I was parallel parking, waiting for a car to leave. And as soon as it did, another car came in and took my parking place. And I was really frustrated because my mother, who was alive then, was an older woman, very tired, very exhausted, and we had to attend to this appointment. So I was naturally frustrated that we lost the parking place, and I overreacted. But the response of the man who took our place was so disarming. He truly didn't realize that I was waiting, which made me realize that I overreacted. He apologized, and then I said, no, I apologize, and we ended up sorting it out very, very quickly. But it made me realize how my response was way out of being appropriate for whatever has happened. So emotions are there to activate a response within you. That response will result in consequences in how you feel, better or worse. And then again, whether you feel, I did that, I can change whether you acknowledge, whether you hold yourself accountable, I should say, And if you do, it might be disarming to begin with, but it really makes you realize it is entirely up to me. If I messed up, I can clear the mess up, and then you modulate your behavior, and life starts turning from chaotic to more balance. So, people, that's what Unbox is about, to teach you how to drive your own life, how to direct your own life. For me to share that knowledge experience of meeting and working with thousands of people across the world. For you to realize that we're here to enjoy life, to learn how to drive better rather than to take anything personally. And once you have that balance, you will begin to guide yourself towards a better, brighter future. I hope I'll see you next week. I'm aiming to bring out a podcast every Tuesday, and please stay in touch. I'd love to hear from you and what it is that you expect Unbox the Podcast to deliver. Until then, stay well and enjoy your experiences.